Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is 13th November 2023. Before we generate demand and supply zones for the daily time frame, let us look into the stocks from our previous reports. From the last report, we identified only one stock having the high liquidity zone, that is Muthoot Finance, and the prices did not reach into the supply zone. It seems to be like there are some heavy order flow in this area, because we know there is a pro gap here. We have a drop base. Actually, we have to consider this as a drop due to the gap. Actually, it is looking like a rally candle if you don't consider the gap. But if you consider the gap, it is looking like a drop candle. That means from here, from this base till this candle, if you mark the body from this gap till this close of this particular candle, if you mark, you can get a body here, which is invisible body. Generally, during the gaps, candles will be having invisible bodies. So that's why we consider this, even the software is also exactly considered this is a drop base drop. Okay, this is about the stock we identified from our previous list, and the prices are yet to reach into this, and moreover this is a fresh zone, and due to this professional gap, prices are struggling to reach into this zone. But definitely the moment prices get into this area, we can see a strong order flow from the supply zone. So keep this stock in your watch list. But today we did not get the entry. And the previous one from the Friday's list, we have a stock IDFC First, which is also a fresh zone, and prices are unable to reach into this zone on yesterday, that is Sunday, as well as today. In both these days, prices couldn't able to reach. So that's why we didn't get the entry, because we have very few stocks from this list. So what I did, I looked for the stocks from our previous week's list, that is from Thursday and Wednesday's list. I picked up the stocks, especially the high liquidity zones having the fresh zones. So I found one interesting stock from our last week, that is Zindal Steel. It is having a high liquidity supply zone, which is a fresh, first time prices entered into this zone. We have already fine-tuned this high liquidity demand zone, the daily demand zone, at lower time frames. You know the strategy. What is the strategy? Any high liquidity zone will be treated as a HTF zone, higher time frame zone. We go one step below. That is, for daily, one step below is 75 minutes. In the 75 minutes, we found a 75 minutes supply zone. I am considering this candle, even though it is looking like a base candle, I am considering this as a failed ERC candle, because the range of this candle is more than the average base candle size. So that could be the reason I have given a priority. I am considering this only a leg-in candle. You cannot consider such kind of candles for leg out, but leg in, yes, you can. And then we have base candles, and then we have a drop candle. Because some people may consider this is also a base candle. When you don't have such kind of clarity, what you have to do? You mark the zone. Because here, what is our goal? We need to find the real origin. Where you find the real origin? At the lower time frames. So that's why I marked this zone, and then I get into the lower time frames. 15 minutes, I didn't get a clarity in this particular area. So I went to 5 minutes. There we found the real origin, where the order flow has started. We have a drop candle, we have a base candle, and then we have a drop, another drop, and then see how prices went down. After that, there is a big fall. This entire move is started from this origin. That's why there are higher chances of getting success for this 5 minute supply zone. And even the risk is also minimized. And today we got an entry in this stock. See how it pushed the moment price entered into this 5 minute zone. Then see how it is pushed. At 10:15 5 minutes candle, we got the entry and reached the target at 11 o'clock candle. So here we have, actually this is not the 5 minutes demand zone, this is a 15 minutes demand zone. See here, we have a ERC candle. ERC candle can be used in the, failed ERC candle. The failed ERC candle we can use as a leg-in candles. Then we have a drop, and then we have a failed ERC candle. Then we have a base candle. Sorry, it's not drop, it is a base candle. Then we have a rally candle. So we got a 15 minutes demand zone. Most of the times we have seen the DIT trades, the targets will be reached for our high liquidity zones during the intraday itself. The DIT targets. Generally we keep for 5 minutes demand or supply zone entry, you will keep 5 minutes the opposite side zone as a target. But what we are doing, we are always taking our entry from the 75 minutes. Inside 75 minutes, we fine tune to 15 minutes or 5 minutes. And then target we are fixing for 15 minutes. Generally, you fix 15 minutes targets for DIT trades. But for our high liquidity zones, we are getting the DIT targets during intraday itself. So that way it reached the target. At 11 o'clock candle, it reached the target. So it's a successful trade, the Zendal Steel. Why I have taken this stock from the previous weeks is because yesterday we didn't have a good list of the stocks because yesterday's trading is only for 1 hour. You can't expect institutional participation. So that's why we didn't get any good high liquidity demand zones and supply zones from our list. We found only one stock, but we didn't get entry in that. Same thing happened on the Friday also. Generally, before the festival, the movement in the market is also very slow. But luckily, we found a fresh high liquidity zone from our Thursday and Wednesday's list from the last week. And today we got that and reached the target. And the profit is 10,000 rupees is the profit. And which is a 5.39% return on the investment. That is the reason why last week all the recommendations I kept it in the watch list. The reason why I kept, before the festival, the movement in the market is a little slower than the normal days trading point of view. Before the festival, it is very slow. That is one reason I am maintaining all the last week stocks, whatever came from our high liquidity. All these are all only high liquidity zones only from our previous list. Generally, what we do for our intraday, we take only the previous day stocks because why we don't consider the earlier days is the momentum will be, not the momentum, the volatility will be changed. Because volatilities will change, the stocks near demand and supply zone, the algorithm equations will be changed. That's why most of the times we don't look into the earlier day stocks for our intraday point of view. We always look for the previous day report only, we look for intraday stocks. But sometimes I am taking deviations from that. But I am taking some precautions. Like, see, today I looked from last excuse me, from the last weeks from the last week's zones, I selected only the fresh zone, the high liquidity zone itself. The daily zone itself is a fresh zone. Then I monitor those stocks. So even though the volatility level changes, but still that will safeguard our trades. Okay, this is about a successful trade from our last week's list, the Zendal stream, even though we didn't find a good number of stocks from our yesterday's list. Now let's go to the strategy builder. For entry time frame daily, let us find the stocks which are near to the daily demand zone. So only one stock is filtered, and that is a high liquidity zone, the Tata Chemical. And the good thing, the positive thing is the daily trend is down and the weekly trend is sideways. Only monthly trend is uptrend. And the second point, it is at the equilibrium. But it is already tested 3 times. That is the one you have to observe. That's why either you have to find a fresh 75 minutes demand zone inside daily high liquidity zone, or you have to take a deep entry if there is any possibility available. So this is what you should focus about this particular high liquidity stock. So let's go back. Entry time frame is daily. Let us find the stocks which are near to the daily supply zone. So 8 stocks are filtered. Let us find the high liquidity zones. AU Bank is a high liquidity supply zone. It is having high liquidity supply zone. And the trend is sideways, daily trend. And moreover, it is a fresh zone. It is at the equilibrium. Risk reward is also excellent. Good. Maybe close to 1:3. So this is about AU Bank. So you can analyze this. And the next high liquidity zone. Yes. Muthoot Finance. Yesterday also we got this. Today entry did not trigger. So let us again wait for the stock on tomorrow also. So we have these two high liquidity supply zones. So total three stocks we identified. One is a demand zone, high liquidity, and two high liquidity demand zones from the supply zones list. But both these high liquidity supply zones are fresh daily zones. They are fresh daily high liquidity zones. That is what you have to remember. One is at the equilibrium and another one is at the high on the curve. Your daily risk reward is also excellent. Generally, what we do, we fine tune at 75 minutes level. That way, we get better risk, even though the daily is not having good risk. But here we have a good risk, close to 1:3. It's not exactly 1:3, but close to 1:3. Oh, sorry. Something is wrong here. Okay, this is 1:3. Which one? AU Bank. But Muthoot Finance is not 1:3. It is just a little over 1:1. But because we have the risk is high, we can fine tune inside. That way we get more reward. Generally, what happens, if the risk of your zone, your daily zone is high, the moment you fine tune inside with 75 minutes or 15 minutes, you get better risk reward. Daily point of view, you won't find. Because most of the trades, successful trades, we got like that only. Okay, this is about supply zones, stocks near the supply zones. So let's go back. Entry time frame daily. Let us find the stocks which are closed inside daily demand zone. So total 17 stocks are filtered. where price closed near daily demand, sorry, where price closed inside daily demand zone. For entry time frame daily, let us find the stocks where price closed inside daily supply zone. Nifty Bank closed inside supply zone. Nifty Financial Services, Nifty IT, Nifty Pharma, Nifty Private Bank, Nifty Next 50. All these indices are closed inside the supply zone. So total 49 stocks are closed inside daily supply zone. So let's go back and find the tested zones. Entry time frame is daily. Let us find the tested daily demand zones. This is the filtered list. Total 27 demand zones are tested. So let's go back. For entry time frame daily, let us find the tested daily supply zones. So total 12 supply zones are tested. So let's go back. Let us find the newly created zones. Entry time frame is daily. Let us find the stocks having newly created demand zones. So these 8 stocks are having newly created daily demand zones. So let's go back. Entry time frame daily. Let us find the stocks having newly created daily supply zones. So these 10 stocks are having newly created daily supply zones. So this is about the filtered list. Now let me generate demand and supply zones for all the stocks for your reference purpose. Entry time frame is daily. So I'm generating the complete list. So this is the complete list. I'll keep on scrolling this list, and wherever the stock, whichever the stock you want to refer, there you please pause the video and then you can study the parameters. And the first 17 stocks in this list are indices, and remaining stocks are equity stocks, but they are listed in F&O segment. Please remember, they are not F&O stocks. I mean, the data I am showing in this are not F&O prices. The data I am showing here is equity prices only, but the list is from F&O. I'm giving only a few seconds time while scrolling down. So that's why every time I'm suggesting you should pause the video. And also, when you are watching these reports, try to keep your YouTube video resolution as 1080 pixels, that is HD quality, so that you will not see any blur in the text. So this is about the complete list. I hope this information is useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let us all meet again in our next video. Thank you.